Anne Marie, this came as a huge surprise this morning, but was it really that quick in the making, right? Was this kind of a long time coming?
Yeah, certainly. A lot of these things is what President Joe Biden has campaigned on. And really, it's, I think, what maybe caught people by surprise, even though there's been a slow drip over the last week of all the different industries potentially this executive order may hit, is just the sheer amount. We're talking about the agricultural space, technology space, healthcare, banking, and it's very poignant on what they want these regulators to do. Very similar to what we saw in 2006 with the Obama administration, but President Obama was on his way out. This is the start of President Biden's administration, and it's clear that he wants regulators to crack down. Technology, as you mentioned, is really one of the key ones, especially when it comes to mergers. They don't want some of these big tech companies with a lot of cash just scooping up the little guy and the rivals because they're worried about competition. Everything about this executive order has to do with competition. And it'll be interesting to see what from this executive order gets translated potentially in legislation in Congress.
The timing is so curious, right, with China's crackdown when it comes to Didi. Anne Marie, how much of this is a reaction to what's happening in China with its own companies?
I think some of it potentially is a reaction. I think one of the biggest things of the Biden administration is to fight China via domestically. So one of the key ideas of the infrastructure bill in terms of their PR for it is we need to be better because we need to be more competitive and to challenge China. And that has a lot of bipartisan support in Washington, D.C. You see it in the House, you see it in the Senate, and in the executive branch. There's not many people that don't want to go tough on China, and they're willing to spend money on it.
Anne Marie, the other thing about this is also coming at a time where Big Pharma has been the savior of the day, right? So how is the Biden administration supposed to crack down on Big Pharma after pandemic year where they've delivered all that they have?
Well, cracking down on Big Pharma in terms of getting affordable pharmaceuticals and affordable drugs. One thing they're looking at this executive order is potentially how states could get cheaper drugs from Canada. That actually has bipartisan support as well. We heard former President Trump used to always lambast against the pharmaceutical companies, saying just the drug pricing in this country is outrageous. I covered a little bit of that when I wrote a story about Martin Shkreli and how you had these two presidential candidates going after him. There is some bipartisan support in Washington, D.C. for that. Obviously, there's a lot of love for the pharmaceuticals when it comes to really being the cavalry when it comes to the COVID pandemic. But in terms of pharmaceutical medicines and also how you see pharmaceutical companies pay off generics to delay getting their medicines to market in terms of making more money, I think potentially you could see some bipartisan support for that. And actually yesterday, Speaker Pelosi was talking about legislation via a budget reconciliation to do just that.